Okay, so now, we started. We're working on editor controls. We're specifically working on the mouse click. So, let's get to that. So right here, we're doing some nonsense. We're taking the index of the editor, we're plussing 0. And the reason we're doing that is so we'll never be able to do an accidental assignment in here. Also, not only do we want to make sure that the editor is equal to that, but we also want to make sure that the initialized editor is that. So, currently being initialized editor index, last initialized editor index. So, ing and I. So, let's go look for this for a second. So right here we see spam guard, editor initialization spam guard, and the editor that was initialized is PAINT5D right here. Okay, so what we're talking about here is this variable here is going to help us make sure that we don't accidentally call this, we don't want to accidentally call this mouse input handler when the system is in the middle of initialization, right? So we're going to call this, so ing and I. So this is the initialized index, right? So we want to make sure that it's the current editor in focus and that also it's done initializing. So we're going to double guard it because we just do not want to screw this up, because we could get a whole bunch of weird problems. So dex I plus 0, right? And then for this dex eddy, go down here, undef, dex I, and then we might as well make a checksum, right? So, and my bitrate sucks again. So that sucks. Okay, so now that we have this, I wonder if this guard is enough to get rid of the crash we were having when we clicked, because it might be. So, God, I'm dropping 50% of my frames here. Okay, let's give it a shot. See what happens. And if we do P for pattern. Okay, now the moment of truth is what happens when we click. Bam, crashes, okay. So, PAINT5D. (2289). And oh, hold on. So this says canvas user view. Do I have that wrong? Let's go look at our diagram for PAINT5D data and see if we have that correct. So this we have 256 here, we got 128 here. So this needs to be greater than or equal to 0, and this needs to be less than or equal to 256 minus 1. And for some reason, that's not what we're getting, huh? So we're going to change these. All right, so if 1 equals 1, and these things, so we don't know what's going on, but it's not good. So if we get in here, we're just going to say error, and canvas user canvas out of bounds. Year 2021. And then also I just want to print off what that is. %d \n cov.x, and then this is the y. Okay, and also is there a possibility that this click X, click Y that gets stored in here is somehow horrible, right? Like maybe that's wrong, right? So we might want to know what that is as well, because maybe that will give us some type of insight as to what the deal is, right? So fic xy xy, let's steal that and just paste over, right? So fix and cov xy and xy, right? Okay, cool. So let's just you know, I don't know, make a little line of stuff. And then give that a run and see what happens. So the idea is that if the cert gets tripped, I want to ask for more information, right? The next time I run. Because I'm a lazy person who doesn't debug. I do write a lot of tests, though, so it's not like I'm not, like, cowboying it out here. I do have methods for... Sorry, I'm hungry. I do have methods for making sure my code is correct. You know, so I write a lot of unit tests. Almost half of my code is unit tests. And then I also have, like, a lot of runtime asserts, right? So, that's how I cope, because, I don't know. I probably should learn, like, how to use WinDebug better. Because I very rarely use it, except for in cases where I have to, like, analyze software. And I'm not saying I'm a software analyst. It's just, like, if I have to do something like that, I'll use WinDebug. So, let's just give that another run, right? And what we're hoping for is to find some type of incriminating value, right? That, well, we got something there. That's kind of cool. But it doesn't work over here. What about if we click over here, out of bounds? How about P for pattern? Why? I don't know why that would change anything. Okay, so... we're getting only one of these cells to change. So for whatever reason, it detects that quadrant, but it doesn't detect anything else. So if we go over to this editor, does it erase what we already had? Yeah, it does. Now if I click over here, that should be out of bounds. So that needs bounds checking. So let's look at this toggle tile stuff, right? So the canvas user view, yeah, should never be outside of the out of this range. Okay. And we're getting some type of feedback. Something's happening, but something in the formula is wrong. So if we can't figure it out, we're gonna have to write tests. VP0, VP1, right? Makes sense. And then we use that to... We also get the tile exponent here, which is also... should be a U32, yep. And then over here, we get this cov thing. If this is true and x is greater than or equal to 0 and x is less than this and y is... right, we're inside that range. Hold on. Do nothing. We got that completely backwards. Else. Right? This is, no wonder all of a sudden stopped crashing, because we had that completely wrong, right? That's the valid range check. We're checking to see if the coordinate's in a valid range, and it wasn't because it was crashing on us earlier. So now let's give that a shot, right? Because something's going on there. Okay. So we're going to go over here, we're going to go over here, we're going to press P for pattern, we're going to go do some of this stuff. And then we're going to try to click here and watch things blow up on our face. Yeah, so I'd say that's a problem. I would say that the cov x that's a problem. Okay. So now the question is it because, possibly, this mouse click coordinate is, for whatever reason, in terms of the the I mouse pause, it's like, it's just not correct, right? Oh, hold on. Let's make sure this isn't a trap value somewhere. And just look for this in, make sure this isn't a unique, it doesn't look like a trap value to me. Looks like just some random negative. Yeah, there's nothing in here. How about like, minus 186? Yeah, nothing. Okay. I don't think it is a trap value. Might as well look for 186 while we're at it, just in case, right? Maybe we'll find something interesting. Nope, just hex dumps. Right? So the next thing to look at for this is, fic X and fic Y. That is the, canvas user view coordinate, right? Or the, fic, this looks suspect, because I didn't click exactly on the corner like that. So, how the heck is that happening? Okay. So, I think click X and click Y is somehow wrong. But even if that's 0, 0 is still... Oh, hold on, no, 0 is not within the range, right? So... here's what we're gonna do. I think it's gonna be easiest to write this code if we can just completely just take this, steal this for a second. And this is the clicking code, right? Okay. Yes, it is. So we're going to take this, and we're going to call this in32 AAC 2020 PAINT5D mouse input odd mouse click. Sure, why not? And then we're actually still going to give it the mouse pointer, right? The mouse object. Because that container could be helpful. And then we're going to just paste all this code from there. And we're going to paste it in there. Okay? And then we want to steal this function here. And now it's kind of double guarded, but I'm not worried about that. And we're going to send Mao in there, right? So, we got this mouse on click function. And the reason I did that is because there's some places where an early exit out of here would actually be nice. I don't like early exiting, but if we see this right here, this coordinate needs to be within VP0 or VP1. Needs to be within VP0, right? So the click coordinate needs to be within here. If it's not, then we're outside of the active region. And then all bets are off on this function. So it might be easier to early exit out of this, but what I'm worried about is that a lot of variables that are down here in this section, right, might be referenced in the other half. So if we look at these variables here, and we look at, so we're trying to get down to here, we see tile exponent. Well, what do we actually need to get this thing here, right? So in 32, AAC 2020, PAINT5D, mouse input, on mouse click, inbounds. Well, let's start breaking it apart, right? Mouse click, so we have a bound check, and then if the bound check returns something good, then we'll do the on mouse click inbound actions, right? So inbound check and then inbound actions, and then we'll have like a, you know, int32 AAC 2020 PAINT5D, a mouse input, and then, and the reason we're breaking this up like this is because I don't like having random exit points in the middle of my code. So to alleviate that, to alleviate random I don't want random exit points in my code, so we're just gonna have to split up the function into this outer main function, and then we're gonna do like an inbound check, right? And we're gonna say, you know, if we're gonna create a, instead of on mouse clicked, we're gonna do mouse input OMC for on mouse click, and then over here we're gonna call this OMC for mouse click, and then over here we're also gonna call this OMC because it's just getting too long, and then right here instead of on mouse click we're gonna go call this OMC, right? So inbound check, and then we're going to use this mouse object, right? And greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, then we're inbounds. Is how we're going to look at that. And if that's the case, then we're going to do the inbound actions. right? So inbound actions also takes mount. Right. So that is a bit terse, or not a bit terse, but a very kind of, it's crammed in there. It's very crammed in there, right? Inbound actions, inbound check, and then we're going to take this code originally, and we're going to find where this was called from, right here. We're now going to call, you know, OMC outer main. OMC on mouse click. Right? Cool. So now we can start breaking apart this function. And I don't break apart functions for readability. I break it apart because there's some type of functionality I can't get without breaking it apart into a smaller piece. So this is not readability. This is because I need different functionality. Specifically one exit point, so that I don't accidentally make a mistake with my code. So to figure out if we're in bounds, let's just start stealing code, right? So this mouse click X whatever needs to be within let's copy this. It needs to be within the bounds of VP0, right? Yeah, VP0. And to get VP0, if we look at this, we can see, oh, hey, we have the code for VP0 right here, right? So let's steal VP0 for a second over here. And then we'll steal the variables we need for it as well. So, int32 is click within so is click within canvas user view bounds, right? And we're gonna set it to 0. And if the mouse dot click X is, let's say define CX for a second as this. Define CY. So we got click X, we got click Y. Can we just call it CLK CX and CLK CY, so we have less indirection to think about? Unless it gets way too... Unless we go over our column limit, it'd be probably better this way, right? And then we can say, if CX is greater than or equal to... we don't really need this, right? We don't really need this variable assignment, right? Because we already know this is VP0 here, right? And so it's going to be very similar code for the it's going to be very similar code for the other axis, right? So CX and CY, and then Y0, Y1, and X's, and then Y0, 1, 0, 1, right? That's correct. And we don't need this assignment here, right? We just don't. It's nice to have that, but now we don't need it because this is just the bounds check. So we can remove this P5D VP0 thing here. And then within here, let's indent this a little bit. And yeah. So if we're in bounds, then we're going to say this right here. We're going to set it to equals 1, right? Because it's true now. Now, I would like the indentation to be a little bit more consistent. So I'm going to put the defines here like this for this function here. So that way I don't have to indent like that, and I can just indent like this. And now these kind of line up here, right? So we got the 0, we got the 1 if we're in bounds. Yeah, so if 1 equals 1, and this is true, and this is true, then we're within bounds, right? And so this bounds check here, if it's greater than 0, then we're in bounds, and we're going to do this code here. So now that we're in this bounds, I don't think we need VP0 for anything except for... I'm lying. So we're going to... What we're going to do is we're just going to steal all this code for a second. Because this is... not what we want anymore, right? And we want it in here. Right, so if it's in bounds, then we do these in bounds actions, right? So here and here. And then, I don't know what this is. Let's just return... I don't feel like actually returning anything meaningful from here. But all this stuff, do we really need all this stuff, right? Do we really have to do that bounds check once and then have to do it again? Oh, crap. Oh, no, because this doesn't take a pointer. This function doesn't take a pointer, that's why, right? Because this is fragment shader code, so these objects, even though they're kind of big, not pointers. Okay, fair enough. So we really have to get it twice like that. Like, we have to get this VP0, and then we have to get it again, because we need the VP0 object in here. That is kind of eh. But, you know what? Oh, well. So, else, log, click not in canvas user view bounds. And then... Okay, yeah. Yeah, answer that. Madison residents. Yep. Okay, okay, I'm in. I'm in the middle of coding stuff. How long ago did you order? Yeah? Okay. Oh, Mom wants to bring the phone upstairs. I'm only 36 minutes into this. Do you know how long it takes me to drive there and back? Like, I'd be losing an hour. Like, is it really worth the time? Like, you just order food again and I'll just eat this food or something? Yeah, because it's just not. It's like it's really gonna take like 30 minutes to an hour. Cause yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I will enjoy the catered meal. But yeah, it's just yeah. It's yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye. I'll be back. Yeah, you think you're just going down... you think you're just going down... You think you're just going upstairs for a little bit, and then some bullshit happens. So... I don't know. Yeah. My girlfriend tried to convince me to go, alright, yeah, so... Alright. So... We got this mouse coordinate, right? The click X, click Y. And we just want to make sure that we're in the bounds of this, which is viewport 0. Viewport 0 is over here, right? So, if we're not within the bounds of viewport 0, then we want to ignore it. So, the only reason I'm breaking up this code right now, I never break code up into multiple functions to make it more readable. I think that don't be afraid of very long functions. However, I want different functionality, right? I want an early exit point. So the reason this code and this code is not a single huge long monolithic function is because if we're not within the bounds, we want an early exit out of the code, but I don't want to return in the middle of the code, right? I just don't like code like that, because then you forget that you have a return somewhere in the body of a function, and you end up hunting bugs because you didn't know you had a return somewhere in the middle of a function. So instead of doing that, we do this kind of thing, right? So OMC is for on mouse click, and then we have so OMC is on mouse click. We're just making it a little abbreviation here because our function names are just way too long, so OMC for on mouse click. And right now a lot of this stuff is being recomputed, right? So this get function here that's getting VP0 right here, it's also being called down here, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. We just want to say, hey, we're not within the user bounds right here. So default is 0. However, you know, it doesn't hurt to set it one more time. I don't think that is a big deal, and then we can see it, you know, 1 0, and then yeah, that's fine. And we also need to return this, right? So int32, so we have to return. And then we're returning this, you know, is click within canvas user bounds, right? That's what we're returning, right? So this is function, this is all this function is about. It's all about this variable right here. Okay, so let's try to compile, and then let's fix our stupid mistakes, because I'm sure that I have made some type of stupid mistake. So, first stupid mistake, we got to declare these. So, the thing that sucks about breaking code up into multiple functions like this is you end up with the whole. Not only do you end up with extra surface area on the code, but then you end up with a whole bunch of duplicated variables, right? So your variables start to multiply. So it's if you don't have to break things up into more functions, don't do it. Because now we have this block of variables here that's also right over here, right? So which we wouldn't need to have if we only had it in one monolithic function. However, if I make it a monolithic function, I have to have some type of early exit in the middle, or I have to have some big guard clause, and a big guard clause would just create too deep of nesting that I'm not comfortable with very deeply nested logic, so that would also be bad. So we have some type of column problem. We have, well, first of all, function cannot have semicolons at the end of it. I know that. However, it's obviously finding some other issue here, because it would have, else, return, let's just try to, oh, wait, no, that is what it called. It was about the, that's exactly what I fixed the exact problem. I'm just not paying attention. Okay, so this is in 32. Return that there. This is also in 32. And we do some stuff. And let's just, you know, return. I don't really have anything meaningful to return right now, so we'll just, you know, return 0, I guess. And now what I'm interested in seeing here is when I go over to the editor and I click outside here, so it still thinks that the click is, let's try to go over here and back here again. Okay, let's click in here. Oh, now it thinks I clicked, but the other time it was like, right, so if I click here, mouse is clicked. Or I click over here. How about over here? How about over here? How about over here is not in bounds, though? Well, it would say differently. Let's make sure that this is correct. This mouse is clicked thing. Well, we already know, okay, so we are getting an inbound mouse click, okay. But still, something is totally wrong. So, I don't know. Let's give that another run. So, the rendering code, or, okay, so here's this thing here, and we do P for pattern. We could load that in there. And if we click here, click not in canvas user view bounds. So it thinks that this is not within the bounds of the canvas. And it definitely is, because the The renderer sure thinks it is. So why does it not think the click is there, right? So what the heck? So let's say, you know, printf, and let's do, let's figure out what the click x is, right? So, CLK CX %D \n and Mao CLK CX, and then I also want to know what the CL key, the click Y is, right? So click, right? So see if that gives me some type of insight as to what the clicking coordinate is. Okay. Let's just click here for a second. It says that the click is 0, 0. How if I click twice? Okay, so it just thinks the click is 0. So, one of the reasons for that, maybe because, well, our mouse listener code is wrong, right? So if you look at here, right, we just say, you know, is the mouse clicking? Yeah, sure, it's clicking. Is the mouse clicking? No, it's not. If it's clicking, then we really want to get the clicking coordinate, right? And so to get that, we have some code in here somewhere. So how did we get this? How did we get this this mouse x coordinate, right? Where did that come from? It comes from the UX, up x, okay. So if we look at this, mouse x is, low word is x-axis, high word is y-axis, huh? Well, this is some black magic. Right, we're taking L param. And what is L param here? Where are you coming from, L param? I don't want to have to write this code twice ever because it's, you know, potentially stuff that's just gonna be just weird, right? So if we think this works, we might as well, we want to make like a helper function, right? So it looks like lparam is going in, and we're extracting the high word and low word, right? So we're just gonna make a thing called, you know, let's just steal lparam for a second, and just say, you know, AAC 2020 GenoWin, get lparam convert to CX CY, right? Something like that. And then this is lparam. And then we just want to say if we look at how we are setting this is a U32. So U32 by ref CX, and then U32 by ref CY, and okay. And now that we have these, you know, when we want to return it, return via output param, and in here we're going to make sure that dereference. We want to dereference a CX thing, or we want to dereference by ref CX, and let's set it equal to some other type of we're going to set it equal to low word is x-axis, and then high word is y-axis, right? And then CY is going to be set to high word. Okay. And now that we have that, we need to just steal this code over here, right? So low and high words, define U32. Oh, we define this locally? Well, that's ugly. Ugly as sin. Because this is older code, right? This is older code, right? So it's older code, so the U32 is kind of locally defined there. Ooh, that's ugly. So we're going to get rid of this undef U32 here. And then we defined the U32 somewhere, right? We're going to get rid of that there. And we're going to shove it onto here, right? So we're going to say define U32. Okay. And then at the bottom of this section, this big section here, we're going to say, you know, undef U32. Okay. And now we can steal this stuff. So we're going to copy this. And then we're going to paste it over here. Right, so low and high words code. Right. And we already have more room to work with, so that's cool. And low word is x-axis. This is y-axis. X and y. We do this weird, crazy stuff with lparam. Oh, lparam is a capital P. Lparam. We do this weird, crazy stuff with lparam to get the low and high word, right? And then after we have it, we've got it, right? So we just pass it back in here, right? Because this is this reference. This is the high word. Okay. So I don't think we use this anywhere. Nope. So now we're going to go over to where we were calling this from, right? And we're going to keep that there, but we're going to say this here, and we're going to say lparam. And I guess lparam, if it's lparam, this is the name of it. It's lparam with a P, capital P. I don't know why it's a capital P, but I guess that's the way it's done. So this should also be called lparam with a capital P, right? So that this lparam directly matches this verbatim. And then we're just going to take these things here, and we're going to take references to them, right? Because these are output parameters. And it's just that logic is kind of wonky, so we don't want to do it in other places if we don't have to. So okay, so before we go any further, we want to just make sure that this little refactor hasn't broken anything. So let's make sure we can run the code still, and that default ready shader return type defaults to int, because we need void. So over here, this is void. Okay. Glad the compile time checking catches me from doing stupid stuff, because I do stupid stuff a lot. So let's see if we can get this working, and okay. So it compiles, but the question is, does this still... Okay, well that still registers correctly, so I feel like it knows the correct mouse coordinates based on how I'm extracting that. So I think it's calling the functions correctly. And then if we go over here to this shader, we load a pattern in here. But that's not the mistake, right? The mistake is that when we click here, click not in canvas user bounds, it says the click is 0 and 0. Okay, so now we're going to close this, and we're going to fix that, I think. I think we're going to fix that. So we can take this code here, and we can use it to help ourselves in the case of... So, for here, the mouse click, we're going to say right here, we're going to say, now the mouse click in terms of iMouse boxes, is it an unsigned integer? Can we get away with that, or is it like something else? Let's look at that. So in the data, it's a U32. Okay, so we can do that. So we can say click X, right? Copy that. And so right over here, where we're going to call this, we can actually take the address of this, and we can, right, because we're going to convert it to CX and CY. So we should be able to just shove lparam in here. Lparam, right, lparam converted to CX and CY, and we should be able to get these out. And I'm thinking that that's probably what we're missing. We don't have to do it here, because if it's up, it's not a click, so we're not going to calculate a click coordinate if we're not clicking. So I think that might help me. So I think that might change the outcome of this. Okay. So, load a pattern, and then go through here. That's good. Now the next thing is if we click over here, inbounds. Inbounds? Not inbounds. What about over here? Not inbounds? Not in bounds. Inbounds. Cool, cool, cool. Inbounds, 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 inbounds. Out of bounds. Out of bounds, out of bounds, out of bounds. Inbounds. Out of bounds, out of bounds, out of bounds. Inbounds. Okay, very cool. Now the next thing is, are we actually doing anything useful? So let's go to kind of tile set down here for a second and say, okay, so we can get this top quadrant to light up here, but the other quadrants, no dice. So I don't remember what the control for the tile size is, but that might also give us some more useful information. So let's close this because I think this guard is actually saving us. I think this guard was actually important. And yeah, because this never got triggered. This used to get triggered, but with that guard, I don't think it is getting triggered. So I think I was correct with my assumption of adding a guard. And we want to know. I want to look at the key bindings, right? Current editor. Let's close this. Let's close this, and let's open up paint. Or keybind. Keybind? Keybind.data. Yeah, I think keybind is what we want to look at. And we should have some brush. So viewport next. Exponent. So this is a tile size exponent, right? Let's go look at that for a second. So it looks like W and X for changing that tile size exponent. So let's make note of that, because I think that we actually will be able to get some interesting feedback if we use W and X to change the tile size exponent. The code isn't quite correct yet, but it's getting closer. So okay. So over here. We're going to go over here, and let's just click here, right? Let's click. Bam. Okay, let's do the, we want to go down, or do we want to go up? Uh-huh. 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 Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. However... Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. It's not clicking here because that's not the tile the editor is on. That's why it's not clicking there. It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with. The editor is designed to focus in on one of these quadrants and only let me edit one of these. I don't know if I like that. I think that yeah, so if we want to change that, so look at the keyboard bindings, it's actually working as expected, because if we go to the tile quadrant, there's probably like a tile quadrant, a quadrant variable here. Camera control, move brush, camera control, tile value, tile toggle, tile exponent, layer index. No, I don't think this... No, I don't think there's any math for that. There's nothing that says... Okay, but when we're setting the tile, Control C, oh god. So when we're setting the, tile, it's only setting in that one quadrant. So, why? I know. Let's go look for toggle tile. And see what we can find. Is toggle tile in here? Yeah, toggle, come on. Oh, match case might be a problem. So it could be toggle tile, but I feel like toggle tile is already kind of pretty. Yeah, toggle tile has a nice unit test for it. So I don't think it's toggle tile, I think it's how toggle tile is being used. So right here is where we're toggling the tile. And let's go look at what kind of tau depot variables we have, right? Because maybe there's a variable in tau depot that's saying so tau depot, I'm gonna guess that tau depot, maybe there's some type of variable that tells me what quadrant I'm in. Right, like TQ for tile quad, right? Yeah, so TQ for tile quad, right? So I'm gonna guess TQ, the tile quadrant, is set to 0, right? And keybind, let's go look for TQ, right? Let's go look for F and look for TQ. We don't care about the case. We don't have a variable that changes that. So when we're toggling a tile, the tile quadrant probably comes into effect here, right? So if we look at toggle tile, yeah, tile quadrant right here. We're getting the tile quadrant here. And we get some other variables that are important. We get a whole bunch of stuff that's important. And then we get using the tile quadrant. Right? So that tile quadrant is actually very important, and we need to set that. Okay, cool. Good to know. So we know that the tile quadrant is not being set. And we have to figure out what that needs to be set to. I don't actually know what that needs to be set to. Well, I kind of know, but then I kind of don't know. Well, actually, you know what we could do? is we kind of know. It's kind of really easy to know, really, right? Yeah, because all we have to do is, oh crap. So So this is not the same thing. This is not local, I bet. Like if we do a, like if we print this off, I bet like when we're using the smallest tile value, I don't think this is correct. Because I think brush X and brush Y is like a local coordinate, right? Pretty sure this is wrong. Because it is not local to... Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is not quite correct. We don't have the math quite correct. Because we're working with slightly different abstractions, and I didn't realize that. So let's look at this for a second. So I bet if we go over here, brush X 0. Yeah, if we go smaller, right? W. My bad. I want to go X to go smaller. Yeah. Let's do X to go smaller. My bad. I don't know why I don't have bounding logic on that, but we'll figure that out later. But yeah, if we look at these coordinates, I'm almost certain that yep, so look, we see 0 and 1. 0 and 1 for the brush. Brush X, brush Y. Okay. Okay, so that brush X, brush Y. Right, if we go smaller, and then it's going to reset. Okay, okay. So this brush thing, or now we actually want the brush picks. We need the to properly set this, we need to know what quadrant we're in as well. So we gotta go find this and figure out where that conversion is coming from, and we gotta change it around a little bit. So here with this code, I'm gonna guess somewhere in here we have the tile quadrant, right? So tile quadrant, quadrant CX, quadrant CY. So the canvas user view X covers everything, right? It covers the whole entire thing. It doesn't know the borders. Canvas user view IX, IY doesn't know borders, but this brush X, brush Y does. And the quadrant CX, right, divided by 128. So we're just going to return the quadrant as well. So we're going to say U08, right? And then, let's just say int 08, because we have enough memory to make it a signed integer without repercussions, so why not? So by ref, qua or actually make it a U08. So the quadrant, is quadrant what we need to set in terms of tau depot memory? So in tau depot, TQ, right? The tile quadrant is, it's just one, it's not an XY value, right? It's a P5D TQ, right? Is tilqua, right? And it is, tilqua is, you know, 0, it's 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, or 3, right? So this thing here, we're gonna rename this to P5D TQ. And then, do we have P5D brush X? Yeah, so let's rename these things. Right, name them kind of based on what they're actually being used for, so that we're a little bit less confused. And then, extra added after fact non-core logic. So this logic is also important, but it's kind of like after the fact. So I'm just going to put it over here. And we're going to say, you know, int 32, or do you want to declare it up here? Sure, why not declare it up here? Tile quadrant index. 1D repre of quas Okay. So this thing here. And it's going to equal, right? And then over here, we're going to by ref P5D, this thing. And it's going to be TQ. And that equals, we got this TX, we got this TY. And then we have, oh, I see. So we just called it, it's P5D TQ in here, but we had BX and whatever the heck. Where the hell is BX coming from? Oh, no, because it's TX over here, isn't it? Yeah, it's TX. We could just call it TQ, right? If that's how we want to roll here to keep things more consistent. So, TQ. Oh, crap. We already have TQ. Well, sure, we already have TQ. Never mind. So TQ is the tile quadrant. It's already in 32. And we don't even need to do this. At vid IID 013103 or I don't know, 07, yeah. And that's the time. God damn it. Vid IID is 0153, and the time is this. I'm an idiot. Nothing extra goes here. Yeah, so nothing extra goes here. I'm wrong. Because this TQ, we already have TQ. Bam, TQ right there, bam. And then we just have to assert that, TQ is greater than or equal to 0, and the tile quadrant is less than or equal to, guess what? A 4 minus 1. Right? So there we go. And then we got BX, we got BY, we got TQ, and then BX, BY is actually the same thing as tile X, tile Y, but we just, yeah, that's all we got to do. That wasn't that hard. Cool, so we've added kind of this extra parameter, right? We've added the tile quadrant on there. And so we need to go into where we're calling this function. So it's not in this file, it's in this other file, right? And we want to say, right, we want to go from general to specific, right? So the more general thing is the tile quadrant, right? Tile quadrant / tilqua / P5D TQ, right? / P5D BX and BY, right? Okay, so we got a lot of, like, names for all this stuff. And what I'm concerned about is these things. I want to declare this TQ above wherever that's being declared. So let's go find where that is. And then let's say, hey, right over here, we want a U08 TQ tile quadrant. Tile quadrant 1D location. And looks like we have this P5D whatever the hex, which is actually kind of good here. So let's do this U32 P5D TQ U32, yeah. And then also it's the same thing. It's the tile quadrant location thingy mabobber. Very technical term. So let's just take that and roll with it. And then also kind of like, let's take some time to align some stuff nicely, because we have a problem with aligning stuff. Okay, so this tile quadrant, let's make sure that that is represented correctly. So right here and right here. So this tile quadrant stuff is being, where are you being set? So here we're setting you. And then at some point we have to, oh, right here. So P5D TQ tile quadrant equals U32. And then we're going to take the U08 TQ, right? Right, so all these should match, right? So there's a TQ and, right, so this. And then this is the PAINT5D, but this is the U08, right? So you see how that all lines up nicely? Okay, so with that, with this stuff, we know we are setting, we want to store brush coordinate texture, right? So the brush coordinate, yes, is the BXBY. Let's make a note of this, that, at vid IID 0153, time is 1:35 and 32. The BY coordinate is local to the tile quadrant. TQ slash tilqua. So we must set the P5D TQ as well here for the toggle tile to function properly. Right? So that's what we're doing right here this time. So let's just say 36, 32, right? Is that right here? Okay, so yeah. Let's just steal this. Let's steal one of these. And in here, instead of BX, right, we're just going to take BX, and this is going to be TQ for tile quadrant. And then right here, this is going to be TQ as well. Right, so, right, both of those line up, both these light up, both these light up, right? So, I have good feelings about this, as long as you didn't screw up any type of, syntax. And syntax will be easy to fix, but then after that, I think this is actually going to work, so. Fingers crossed. Okay, so far, good condition here. Okay, so we know X goes down here. Ooh, looking good, looking good, looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Uh-huh. And then, okay, what about zooming in there, right? Does zooming in, I don't even remember what zooming in was. It was like a R or something? No, V. V is going to zoom in here. So if we zoom in, does our click still work properly? Nice. Nice, beautiful. Right? And we can kind of zoom in a little bit more. We can zoom in. We can zoom out. And so... so that's cool. We can... what is it? E and W and W to go up, and then I don't remember what the auto tile whatever the heck was, right? So I think it's like Q and Z maybe, but I don't remember. Q. There we go. I got some other colors, right? Nice. Uh-huh. And then let's do Q again. Nice. Okay, so we only got these 3 colors, right? Well, they blend together interestingly. And then we can go down to the bottom, right? We only got 4 colors. Uh-huh. And let's kind of zoom out. Not zoom out. R was zooming out. So we need to make this a little bit easier to control. But now if we do Y, we go up through here, we go up through the patterns. Like we have, like there's patterns everywhere we can use, right? So this is, Well, I'd say not all layers do what I thought they would do. I think it's because it's alpha blending. So like alpha blending with black is like kind of like giving me a screw you. So I think to get anything there, we have to like, I'm gonna guess that we have to go through like all the different tile values. Maybe. Okay, well we're getting somewhere. So let's go P for pattern really quick, right? So we have something in here already loaded. And the question is, maybe we have some type of mistake on these black layers, right? Maybe there's a reason why nothing is showing up. And it's not the reason we initially thought, right? The white layers, yeah, of course. Makes sense. But these layers that are just completely black for whatever reason, I think there's something else going on. Well, what could be happening here is that everything is set, right? So if we look at this, we said toggle tile, right? Do you see any toggle tile action? I don't see any toggle tile action. I see being able to set, but I don't see any toggling going on here. So the question is, what's up with that? Why is that not toggling things on and off? I don't know. So that's good. So let's go into our to-do here. Working on it. 3. Toggle tile should actually toggle a tile. Right now, it never unsets a tile after it has been set. Okay. So we got this nice little to-do list, and we can take this to-do, and why don't we make a done, right? So technically we do have, right, and we'll put the newer things towards the top like we do with the other code, right? To do and done, right? So yeah, that's done. And we still need to figure out what the hell is going on here. So I don't know, just want to keep numbers like this and say, you know, technically that, sure, why not? So yeah, the unset isn't working correctly, but we got something cool going on. So clear git add dot git commit dash am rar to do toggle tile should So toggle tile should unset on second click, right? So we'll push this up to GitHub, and then we'll also push this up to, what do you call it? And also, we'll kind of message, get on Discord for a second. And let's okay. So let's just give it a run for a second. I don't know what that's gonna do. So now that we're close, but we're not exactly where I want to be here. Because this should, X was a smaller tile value, right? Yeah, X is a smaller tile value, and it is cool that we can now kind of, not RV. It is definitely cool that we can layer stuff on top of each other. But it's not quite where we want to be right now. Don't we have different layers as well? Like, we have different tile values, but we also have different layers, right? So if we're on the same layer, I don't think we should do this weird alpha blending. But we just want something to work for now, right? So let's not worry about that for a second. So if we go through here, so I think something is wrong with the rendering logic on that layer. We got everything else kind of working. So we gotta figure out why, we gotta figure out what's going on with that. Right, so something is wrong with our unset. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. So we gotta figure that out. But we figured out a lot of stuff, so that's good. I'm tired, but, now, we don't always have black, do we? So if we, like, so hold on here for a second. PAINT5D. Let's close this, or whatever. I'm getting tired. If we go into the PAINT5D, if we go into keybind, Where do we want this for? No, PAINT5D. We're gonna go look for a P5D pattern for a second. And the PAINT5D system. But not in the data. We actually want to look in the function file. So PAINT5D functions. If we look for that, P5D. Alright, let's just open it up here for a second. Let's just open it up again because I don't want to lose my place in the other editor. So P5D functions. And if we go look through this, P5D pattern, then we can find this right here, P5D pattern. And right now we're doing this, but I want to do the Yaya pattern because though it may be a kind of a silly kind of way to do things, I didn't get any, I don't think I have any black spots that can't be colored, right? So, were we having a problem with the render, or is it just, everything is completely black, so everything's like alpha blending together and we're not seeing anything because, there's just nothing to, I don't know. So, if you do P for pattern right now, and we start to go through these layers, right, there's nothing that's completely black, so I don't think that's the problem, right? So this, we can set something here, we can set something here, set something there, set something there. Yeah, you can slowly, some of it's very subtle, right, but on any of these layers, we can see ourselves setting details, right? Any of these layers, it's a working, right? It's a working. Okay. And then, you know, in here, we can kind of zoom into this craziness, and we can go... Right. And then we can change the brush size, so we can go down a tile size, right? Or is that not a tile size? Is that my, is that not my tile size? I can't even tell. Oh, yeah, that's the tile size, right? Because now we can... It's very tiny. Yeah, so we have to change the, we need to change the rendering to something that makes a little bit more sense. But before we even do that, we have to turn tile toggling on and off. So I'm gonna close this. And, oh, hey, how's it going? Sorry, I just, yeah, I'm kind of tired. Hey, Luncho, how's it going? So, I just got the editor is kind of like a, doing some worky stuff. Yeah, did you see the editor stuff? I can, yeah, I can launch it one more time for you, if you haven't seen it. And, then I think I need to go beddy buys or take a nap or something because I'm tired. I've been up all night. Oh, cool. So you've seen it. Cool. Very cool. So, yeah, I just need to the command that I'm using to click, that's actually supposed to be a toggle tile command, and right now it's just setting the tile. So toggle tile command is not toggling tile. So gotta fix that. And then I'm going to edit the render colors because those render colors are just a debug thing to help me know everything is correct, but is working hard to work with. I don't know if you even know that. I'm just asking. But anyways, yeah, I need to go to bed, or take a nap. I have the machine shop at, I think I'm going to do a quick summary of, not entirely sure, I thought you could just write it normally, but I don't know if rules, yeah, I don't have any, what do you call it, yeah, I turned off censorship, but God forbid you type. I can't type yet, so I... Yeah. I don't know if you were there for that. Were you there for when I set my list of banned words and phrases? And so one of them is duck, and another one is like either Twix is better than Snickers or Snickers is better than Twitch. So if you don't want the auto mod to come after you, you better not say Twix is better than Snickers or Snickers is better than Twix. I don't remember which one I said, but actually, let's go look at that. Settings. Moderation. Let's see, what are our banned words here? Block terms and phrases. Let's go see what this is. Can you implement in Rust? Duck, duck, duck. Invoke, auto ban me. Mother ducker and mother underscore ducker. Twix is better than Snickers. We should also, I don't know what I was thinking here. But also, you know, Snickers is better than Twix. So I gotta ban both of them. Let's see, anything else? I feel like I'm making a very safe community if I just continue with this. What else? I don't know. If you have any suggestions, feel free to suggest me, and I will... oh crap, that's right. When I change the tabs, I lose the chat, don't I? So I don't even know what you're saying right now. I am sorry. So you will have to repeat yourself if you're saying anything, I believe, right? Because if I go to the... If I go into the yeah, God, So yeah. Sorry. Sorry. If you said anything, I don't know what it was. Because, I mean... there's quite a bit of delay. Anyways, you should get some rest. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll, see you when I see you. But yeah, I'm excited because we're actually getting some progress. So yeah, it's getting somewhere. And this is just the, this is not the fractal aspect. This is the, I don't know, I think you've been over this many times before, but this is just the base material, for the fractals, right? So, at the maximum zoom level, this is the details that you're going to see. So I was talking like SRBS a while ago, and I'm like, you know what? At a atomic level of zoom with an electron microscope, color does not actually exist. So maybe what these tile designs at this level should represent are like microfacet maps. You know, like you know, in like physically based rendering, there's like the microfacet theory. So PBR has a microfacet theory, and the But that's probably not going to happen because I don't think I'm that awesome to figure that kind of stuff out. But it's an interesting conceptualization to play around with. But yeah, I am going to get going. Or actually, one thing I do want to do before I get going though. So I was at the shop and I didn't do my after shop summary. So we're gonna switch. the bottom of the screen here. We're going to go into we have an after-shop summary somewhere. Not in here. It's in shop summary, right? Shop summary folder, and by month. We're not going to do a shop summary for every day. We're going to make a monthly chart of what we did on a certain day and tally things up. So that was the 22nd, and on the 22nd, in terms of black, so let's duplicate this. This was the 22nd here. And in terms of black, we didn't do any two-ways, but we did 30 of these three-ways. But we don't count count these 30 pieces, these individual pieces that I cut, as one piece, because we need two cross sections in order to make one piece, because it's the material is half the thickness that I need it to be. So if I have 30 laser cut pieces, I actually only have 15 parts. So we need to say, okay, the number of three-ways that we cut was 15. Okay, so I got 40 of these bat bones, so BA for bat, and 40 divided by 2, that makes 20. And then we'll work on the blue, but this is the ledger for black pieces. So now, in terms of this, we never had any number there. We can now say we have a total of 15 for this column, and for this we have a total of 16. So we have all the, if we're going to use these bat bones, we already have enough for the table. We have exactly enough of the two ways currently to make a table, and we need a lot more three ways because we have 15 and we gotta get to 96. So the next thing is we want to go to, this is the blue, and so this is the, did I say 20? Yesterday was the 22nd, right? Yeah, yesterday was the 22nd. Why does my ledger not have, why is my ledger missing? Great. Oh, this is 21. That's why. 20, 21, 22. Okay, cool. So the clear, we didn't do anything for today, right? So for clear, it's for yesterday was the 22nd. So the 22nd, we got nothing for clear, right? We didn't cut any clear pieces on the 22nd. But on the 22nd, we cut these black pieces, and then for the blue pieces, we got, we want to round down, or no, we don't have to round down. We have 2 of the bat bones, so we have 0002 for the bat bones. That means the total right here is now 002. And then we have a total of, we have 3 divided by 2, we're going to truncate, we're going to round down. So we only have 1 piece of the blue 3-way. So right over here, we got just 1 piece out of the blue. And that takes this total to 1. So we got 1 out of the 96 parts we're going to need for a coffee table in blue. And we got 2 of these 16 parts in blue that we're going to need for a coffee table. We got 4 of these parts that we're going to need these 4 of the 2 ways that we have for blue. So we have that all situated. Let's save this and say 20, 21, 22. Make sure that all these columns are there. And then let's go... Okay, so all the columns are accounted for. And now I'm going to get out of here. So I have accounted for everything. I am good. I will see you when I see you. So later.